The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Thank you, Tally Olson. We are back. New York Mets baseball in the zone. I'm Ralph Tycho with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. The two mavens are back together, Marty Rose and Robert Cole. Welcome back, Marty.
Thank you, Ralph. It's nice to be back, and now that I've relocated to a much nicer area down here in Celebration, right near Disney World, it is very, very nice. I mean, beautiful neighborhood, pools and parks and everything.
Oh, wow.
Right across, there's a pool like right across the street. So
nice.
We have access to 6 pools and a gym, and it looks.
And not only that, you're close to Port St. Lucie in spring training.
Well, I was thinking that, I probably have to go down I-4 to I-95, but no. I forgot all about the Florida Turnpike.
Right,
which
and that's
is
right by
more
you.
Direct. Yeah, and it's an hour and 45 minutes to Port St. Lucie from here. So I think we'll be making at least one trip. I don't know if we'll do more, but yeah, I'd like to go. I've never been, so and as I found out last night, they've already got tickets for sale. So got to be a little more serious now as to when we're going to do it, if we're going to do it. So
yeah,
but,
yeah,
that should be nice.
Yep.
So it's been a busy week on the Mets front with the signings of Porcello and Waka.
Yep.
And the funny thing is, from what I heard, they told both of them that they'd be in the rotation. So that automatically brings a question mark, a big question mark, because there's only room for one more. So I don't know. What do you think?
The original thoughts were that Waka would start out of the bullpen. Now, maybe, in order to sign him, they may have had told him, he was going to be a starting pitcher. I don't know. But he actually finished up at St. Louis as a relief pitcher. So we're going to have to see. Now Matz, who Ralph has been saying for many months he thought he would make a good lefty out of the bullpen. But, he's still fairly young, so, we'll have to see. Beltran is going to have, some things to figure out along with his new pitching coach. So
yeah, got a whole new staff of coaches. So I guess anything can happen. What you planned on at the end of last season is now out the window. So it should be very interesting.
True, and you have to wonder how Gesellman and Lugo were thinking, because I'm sure they both had in their mind that they would get a shot at that open starting job, and then the Mets go out and get 2 more starters. So
right,
it doesn't look like that's going to happen.
Does not appear that way. No, that's for sure.
That'll be interesting. And then
so,
the other thing, other thing that's been sort of heating up now is, supposedly every team that's talking to the Mets about a trade, wants McNeil included in it, and so it'll be interesting to see. I know Ralph, posted on my website today that, he wouldn't mind, trading McNeil straight up for Marte, the Pirate center fielder. And quite a few people, jumped on that and said, oh, no way. You don't do that straight up. And I agree. I maybe do Nimmo straight up, but not McNeil straight up. And you also have Marisnik, that they just got to play center field. So I don't know that Marte is all that as important anymore.
Yeah, but Marisnik is more of a Lagares type. Not much of a hitter. Good fielder, but not much of a hitter.
Right.
So I don't like that. I wouldn't give up McNeil. I would definitely not. I mean, I think he's supposed to be the regular third baseman this year. So
correct.
And there's nobody else really on the roster that. I mean, J.D. Davis could play there, but I don't think he's that good of an infielder, to my knowledge.
And the other guy who I've seen propose there is Lowry, and of course, I've yet to see Lowry play a position yet on the Mets. So.
And he's 36 now. I mean,
36, going on 37. So
yeah, I can't. I don't see that happening anyway either. I mean, if they're going to make a trade like that, I would try to give up maybe like Dom Smith, who is completely blocked, and maybe Nimmo and Smith. Maybe I'd give up if the Pirates wouldn't settle for just Nimmo. I might do that, but
I agree. That's maybe even throw in a fringe minor leaguer. None of your top guys, but one of the lower level guys. And,
well,
but
surprised
supposedly,
supposedly
they're still in the market for another catcher. Nito, good catcher, but pretty much zero at the bat. And so we have to see how that goes. I mean, there's plenty of them available, none, great shape.
Ramos is going to play just about every day anyway. So I don't see the point of giving anything up for another catcher. And they got that Ali Sanchez kid probably a year or two away.
Right.
So. Yeah, I don't think that's important. That important. I mean, Nito can, be a backup one day a week guy. I mean, I don't think. Yeah, I think he could do that. He's not that awful. I think he was getting a little bit better at the plate as the year went on last year.
True. But again, we'll have to see. He may, Brody may turn around and trade Ramos for all we know. So. Yeah,
that's true. You never know about that.
Yeah. So it's.
They did drop a bunch of the old relief pitchers. I didn't know about some of them. I just saw recently that kid. I thought this kid Nogosek was going to be pretty good. But they just DFA'd him the other day, so I don't,
Well, they had to make room for Porcello and Waka on the 40-man.
Okay, so they DFA'd Nogosek, and they already had DFA'd this Mazza kid.
Right. And, now, if they don't get picked up, they can always get re-signed by the Mets. So I guess they're taking a chance there. With that, I mean, they protected them through the Rule 5 draft, so but so we'll have to see what happens, on that front. And a lot of what they're going to do, and has to do with the guy that we don't talk about, the C word, if in fact.
Reworking the contract, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know I don't get it unless you think they're thinking about trading him. I don't quite understand this whole thing.
Well, originally what the Mets were going to do, because his injury was a non-baseball injury.
Right.
When he hurt himself on the farm last year, on the ranch, when he broke his ankle. Well, that was a non-baseball injury. He wasn't doing anything related to baseball. They had a possible way of getting out of the entire contract for this year because of the fact that it's a non-baseball injury. In fact, what I read was that he repaid some of last year's contract money that he got. So I'm guessing, I don't know how the insurance worked. Whether, I don't even know if the insurance covered, the non-baseball injury. So, but anyway, they worked out a deal where he can still, if he meets, certain requirements, still make the same amount, but the base amount is, I think, almost cut in half.
So it's all incentive generated, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of
a certain amount of games or whatever. Yeah. Well, I mean, geez, if he is like 75% of what he was before when he was healthy, that's a big deal. Yeah, no question. So, well, yeah, we'll see. I mean, there's been no real reports. I mean, except for those videos that were leaked of him taking batting practice, and there's been reports that he has been running. He's in a running program. So even though there's not a lot of news coming out, it seems like it's leaning towards good news rather than bad news, in my opinion anyway.
Yeah, and I think, the fact of this settlement and stuff, the way they structured it, would make it seem to me like he is going to play. So, there was a grievance settlement. If he wasn't going to play, he couldn't play, I would think that, they would have fought the grievance settlement. So that'll be interesting to follow and see what happens with that.
Yeah. So they got an awful lot of guys that are arbitration eligible, and I haven't heard much about any of those guys. What's the date that stuff usually starts happening? Is that
I believe
closer to the
February, late January and February.
Okay, closer to the beginning of spring training.
Right.
I guess. Right. Okay. Yeah, because it's going to cost them a lot of dough. There's quite a few names that regular everyday guys that are eligible here, and to me, it's shocking the amount of money that they get in this arbitration before they're even eligible for free agency. They're getting a lot of dough.
Yeah.
So you got Syndergaard and Nimmo and let's see, there was
okay, I have the list right here. Stroman,
Conforto. Yeah.
Stroman, Marisnik, Syndergaard, Conforto, Matz, Diaz, Lugo, Nimmo, and Gesellman.
Oh my God! I knew it was substantial. That is certainly substantial. Yeah,
yep.
That's. So I could see why they really didn't go all out on any big free agents, because that's going to cost them big bucks to re-sign these guys into arbitration.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So another thing, we haven't heard a lot about this new ownership guy. This billionaire.
Cohen. Yeah, Cohen.
Yeah. So he's negotiating for 80% of the team, and all the speculation is, when are we going to see this guy's money? You know, so that's what I've been hearing a lot.
Yeah, the original agreement was that it was going to happen over a 5-year period, with Fred still being the CEO for 5 years, and
Jeff,
his son being whatever he is for 5 years.
CFO, I think.
CFO, and I think that's because Fred desperately wants to see a World Series in those 5 years, you know, and that's what's making it interesting. You know, I said to Ralph last week, I said, Ralph, not only does Fred want to see one in his lifetime, so do you, me, and Marty. You know, it would be nice.
Right.
to
That's
see one.
right. Well, Fred's about 10 years older than us, so I mean,
yeah.
You know, so who knows what his situation is.
Yeah. So the initial thing was it was going to happen over a 5-year period, and then there's been talk that Cohen wants to accelerate it, and so we'll have to see. I mean, you know, you can still have Wilpons in positions, but you know, maybe not with so much power.
That would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I mentioned to Ralph last week that concerned me was, you know, if the Wilpons so desperately want a World Series champion, you know, that Brody doesn't go crazy and make all kinds of crazy trades trying to make that happen. So. Yeah.
Well.
Have to keep our eye on that too.
Mm-hmm.
And it said that Brody probably is on a very short string because this guy Cohen is probably going to want to bring in a baseball guy, you know, on the management side, not somebody that was an agent.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Very good. So yeah.
So
yeah,
you know,
I don't know. Not much
we'll
else.
have to follow that. You know, we were talking last week too. You know, the Phillies have strengthened themselves. The Braves have strengthened themselves.
That's true.
The Nationals re-signed Strasburg, but you know they lost Rendon, so we'll have to see what they do for third base.
Yeah, that's a big loss. Wow, that's a huge loss.
But from our standpoint with the Mets, I'm glad that he signed with the Angels and not the Phillies or the Braves.
Oh yeah, definitely, for sure.
Yeah. So that was a concern. So we'll have to see what goes on with the Mets. You know, talking about New York sports a little bit. You know, St. John's had really nice win. You know. What was it, a week ago, last Saturday, I think, against West Virginia.
West Virginia, yeah, that was nice. Yeah, I missed that one because I was busy, but they one thing I noticed in the box score in the last couple of games that they improved dramatically at the free throw line, where in the beginning of the season, they were like shooting 50% or less from the line. It was terrible.
Yeah.
So they improved there, but their long range shooting is still not that great.
No, that's something they're going to have to straighten out. I think. When did they play again? Tomorrow night, is it?
I think they only have one. I think one more game before the league starts.
I think they play one game this week, and then I think next week the league starts, something like that. I know they weren't all that busy, you know, this week and next week. I think one game each week.
Yeah, they got maybe you know, one game this week, something like that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I mean, the Giants had an interesting game last week. I mean, on Sunday.
Yesterday.
That was unfortunately, being here, I couldn't see it, but I did watch the Red Zone and was able to see a lot of the plays, and it was good for Eli, very good for Eli, that he went out with a win, and fans got to give him a nice goodbye, and
yep. I mean, if the Giants were smart, okay, they would just let Eli play the last two games. I mean, they have nothing more to prove. The rookie quarterback, Daniel Jones, had a bad ankle. Why rush him back, even though he's healthy? You know what he needs to do, what he's going to do. Let Eli have the last two games. One's on the road, one's at home, the last game of the year. And let him go out. He played well Monday night against the Eagles. Through no fault of his own, the Giants lost that on defense. He had a decent game yesterday. He gave up 3 interceptions, but he also had 2 touchdown passes. And, so let him finish up and then move on from there.
Yeah, they got the Redskins next week, so that's pretty even matchup. 3-11, both of them.
Yep. And then they finish up with the Eagles, I think, on the last week.
It'd be nice to see them spoil the Eagles' chances.
Yeah. Although I'd rather see the Eagles than the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys.
They came out ready yesterday.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, they did.
That was a surprise, big surprise to me. A couple of big surprises yesterday.
Yep. And Thursday night, of course, the Jets got buried again by Baltimore.
Well, that was expected, but
and there's
21,
a lot of
I thought they'd lose by 30 or more, but at least they only lost by 21. But I think Baltimore is going to the Super Bowl. I really do. So.
They very well could. I mean, there isn't a whole lot in the American Conference.
Yeah, they already beat New England once this year.
Right. And the Patriots shown some weaknesses. They don't look.
Yeah.
Plus, they got their tit in the ringer again.
Yeah. That's so silly.
Let's see what happens with that. 3-time losers on cheating.
Cheaters will always keep cheating, somebody said.
Yeah.
That's why. I mean, against that particular team.
Yeah, against the Bengals of all teams.
Makes no sense. It's just unbelievable what they do.
And,
it really is.
And then the other football news from New York is that both coaches are possibly going to get replaced. Adam Gase with the Jets and the Giants coach. So.
Well, I think that Johnson there already said that Gase was coming back next year.
Did he really?
I think he said that halfway through the season. I know he said it, as a matter of fact. Now, could he change his mind? Maybe, but no, he did say that. So,
wow.
I think the Giants coach should be gone, and possibly the GM as well.
Yeah.
But, I don't know about this Christopher Johnson that's running the team for Woody.
Right.
I mean, at least I think Woody at least had a clue about what he was doing. I don't think Christopher Johnson has a clue at all. I don't know how much Woody is completely, divorced from what's going on, or does he still have input but nobody talks about it? We don't know that.
Right.
So,
right.
you know, it was, well, hopefully there's a change in Washington coming up in 2020. So
and Woody will come home.
Well, new ambassadors and stuff. That would be nice. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Christopher Johnson reminds me of Wilpon's kid. You know.
Yeah, brilliant Jeff. Yeah, unbelievable. Jeez. Yeah.
And that's pretty much about the New York scene. You know, the Knicks won 2 games in a row, which was a big deal, but they're still having a horrible year.
Yeah, well,
the
they
Nets aren't
changed
doing much
coaches.
better.
They changed.
Yeah, they changed coaches.
I don't follow the NBA at all, but I do listen to the sports talk. So yeah, they were talking about the new coach, and he came in and he won a couple of games right off the bat, which was kind of interesting, I guess. But how and why? Yeah, I really don't know.
Yeah.
So,
do you get the Yes Network where you are?
No.
No, okay.
I don't get the Yes Network, and I don't get SNY.
Yeah, I get the Yes Network, so I get to keep up a little bit there. But
no, I listen to the fan, the New York Fan on radio.com.
Oh yeah,
You can listen to those things, those guys anytime you want, and they got a new thing where you can even listen to somebody whose show is already finished. You could listen to the whole thing. So.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty nice. If you miss something, you can go back. So I'm looking at St. John's schedule, and they play. They play Wednesday this week. This Wednesday at 8:30 against Albany, and I don't know if that's their last non-conference game. It's possible that it might be. They got Arizona. Jeez. 16th ranked Arizona on Saturday.
Okay.
At 10 p.m. So
that must be in Arizona then.
I don't know. They got St. John's on the bottom, so maybe it's one of these holiday tournament things.
Right.
Like maybe two games in 2 days or something like that.
Yeah.
So whatever, but so probably right between Christmas and New Year's, I think the league should start up, and we'll see what they're really made out of.
Yeah, I'm more optimistic than I was at the beginning of the year. You know, this coach seems to have his stuff together. You know, he seems to know.
Oh, Anderson's he's a good coach. Yeah, I mean, historically, he's never had a losing season. So, and he's been at some big name schools. So, we'll see. We'll see. I think, we've already seen improvement from, the beginning, from when they first started. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're playing called the Al Addles Classic in San Francisco on the weekend.
Al Addles Classic. Wow.
Okay, they're playing Arizona, and then St. Mary's is playing Nevada.
Uh-huh.
So then I guess the winners and the losers will play each other. And then New Year's Eve, December 31st, they start the season with the Butler Bulldogs.
Butler, 10-1 Butler. Ranked number 17 at the present time.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's a home game for St. John's. So,
yeah, they go Butler, then they go January 5th at Xavier, and January 8th at Georgetown.
Hey. Yeah, it's going to be a rough season. But maybe if they play 500 or a little better in the league, that would be a good thing as far as I'm concerned. Because
if they go 500 in the league, win a game, in their conference tournament, at the very least they should get in the NIT. They might even get a bid to the NCAA.
Yeah, never know. Could very well be.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Yep.
Very good. All right. I guess we can wrap it up for this week, Robert.
Yeah, and then it'll probably be quiet on the Mets front for. Yeah,
I'm going to check into the spring training schedule and see what's out there. I think if I'm going to go, or you're thinking about going, probably the middle of the week would be better than the weekend because some people have to work on the middle of the week, but I don't.
Yeah, we'll get together and see if we can come up with something for that.
All right, very good. And,
okay.
All right, so we'll see you next week. Have a good week.
You too.
And thanks. And to everybody out there, stay comfortably zoned. It's been New York Mets baseball. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye.
The proceeding has been a Comfortably Zoned network production. You are advised to keep your dreams wet, your humor dry, your children and grandchildren out of military recruiting offices and off the laps of clerics who wear dresses. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy trails.